Here are 6 tips from the book The Psychology of Money in Under 60 Seconds to help you manage your finances. Tip number 1, avoid screwing up. If you lose big chunks of money through gambling or investing in dodgy stuff, that is the fastest way to ruin your financial life. If you just avoid big losses, you'll be able to steadily grow over time. Number 2, use money to buy freedom. Don't think of money as something that can buy you all of the things that you want, like fast cars or a big house. Think of it first and foremost as a tool to buy you the ability to do what you want. Tip 3, understand the magic of compounding. For example, if you earn 10% every year on your savings, your $100 becomes 110, then 121, then 133, and you can earn money for literally doing nothing. Tip number 4, getting wealthy is very different to staying wealthy. They are 2 different skills. Learn how to manage your money, avoid lifestyle inflation, and prepare for unexpected expenses. Tip 5, save as much as you can. Pretty simple, obvious advice. Having lots of savings gives you the ability to buy your freedom over time. And number 6, learn to say this is enough. Avoid the trap of always wanting more and more, because that is often the path to financial ruin.
There's no such thing as a 1099 employee. And if your boss calls you a 1099 employee, there's a big problem. A 1099 independent contractor is a self-employed person in business for themselves. If you're really 1099, you should have complete control of your schedule, you should be supplying your own tools, and you should decide how to do your job. But if you've got a boss who makes you 1099, they tell you when to show up, when to leave, what to wear, how to talk to customers. Got news for you. You're not a 1099, you're an employee. And even worse, you're an employee who's being ripped off.
Never once in 16 years was I taught about this.
So walk the normal person that's never heard of this before through the whole cycle.
So I'll just give you an example. So if this was the $100 that I just spent an hour working for, this money's got to go somewhere. Most people would put this in a traditional bank. So you put your money there, but then if I take this $100 back out to give to Cody to go buy real estate, does the bank still pay me 1% on that money?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. If I change one thing and I take this $100, instead of putting it in a bank, I set up one of these banking systems and I put this $100 in. 30 days later, you call me up and say, Chris, I got this great deal. You got to get in on this. I'll pay you 12% if you can lend me $100. And I then go to my bank and I take this $100 and I give it to you. But most people would say, well, it's the same as a bank. Nothing, because I just took the money out.
Yeah.
But you see, that 100 I just took wasn't even my money. So my money's making 6%, but I just took that money out. Whose money do I have? Insurance company. So the insurance company lends me money from their account and collateralizes it with mine. When they do that, that loan they gave me, a lot of people are like, oh, that's bad. I don't want another loan. I don't want to pay it back. Great. You don't have to pay it back, because what the insurance company gave you was your death benefit early.
Nobody teaches you this. Here's a step-by-step guide to opening your first credit card so that you're on your way to having a perfect credit score. So in this guide, I'm going to show you how to open a secured credit card. And the way a secured credit card works is you put a deposit down and you can spend the amount of that deposit. So it's very similar to a debit card, but you can still build credit with a secured credit card. So here's exactly how you do it. Step 1, you want to go to discover.com and look for the Discover It credit card, especially if you have no credit history. Step 2, fill out all the information and pick what color card that you want. Step 3, to open the account, you need a $200 minimum deposit. Remember, this works like a debit card. Step 4, turn on automatic payments so your card is paid off every single month. Step 5, spend 10% or less of the amount that you're allowed to charge on that card. And what this does is it lowers your credit utilization, which helps skyrocket your credit score. And after a year, you'll get your deposit back and you'll be on your way to building an amazing credit score.
If you want to pay off your debts quickly, this is the fastest way to do so. And it's just 4 steps. Step 1, list your debts from smallest through to largest. Ignore what the interest rates are. Step 2, make your smallest debt your first victim. So make the minimum repayments on all your other debts, but with that smallest debt that you have, put any extra money that you have onto that debt to pay it off first. Step 3, when the smallest debt is dead, take all that extra money you're putting onto that smallest debt and put it onto your next one that is now your new smallest debt. Step 4, repeat this process until all of your consumer debt is gone.
This is one of the coolest financial tools I've ever found, and it's on Reddit. This is the financial independence flowchart, and it's in the financial independence subreddit by this user called Happy Asian Panda. It's brilliant. I have showed you guys the savings waterfall before, which is essentially 401k match, then emergency fund, then high interest debt, then IRAs, then 401k max and an HSA, and then a couple of other savings vehicles. This is that guidance on steroids. It does a really good job of breaking down exactly what you should do based on your income and what's available to you. I highly, highly recommend this.
I hate that investing advice is not taught in school. It's okay though, that's what I'm here for, and here's everything you need to know in 60 seconds. Buying shares of stock means you own a small portion of that company. To do so, you need to open an account with a brokerage. Any of the big players are fine. There's a couple different types of accounts, but the most popular are a taxable account, an IRA, a Roth IRA, and a 401k. In a taxable account, you pay tax on any of your capital gains, which means the money you make from your stocks. The other accounts are all meant for retirement. I can do an individual video on those if you'd like. Now you can either buy individual stocks or what are called index funds. When you buy an index fund, you essentially buy a basket of a bunch of different stocks rolled into one. This is good because it limits exposure to a single company, meaning it's less volatile or it doesn't go up or down as much. For example, you can buy an index fund that tracks the S&P 500 or the largest 500 companies in the United States, which has never lost money over a 20-year period since its inception. Not to mention, somewhere north of 90% of people who pick individual stocks lose money. Getting started investing can seem scary, but it is the best way to grow your wealth long term, which is why
My poor dad, go to school, get a job, get your PhD. The secret to being rich is not a college education, but can you control cash flow? 95% of all college graduates don't know what a financial statement is. There's 6 basic words to financial literacy and financial education: income, expense, asset, liability. And the last 2 words are the words cash flow. Again, this is, you get a job, and this was 95% of all college graduates don't know what a financial statement is. But I say to young people like you, there's 6 basic words to financial literacy and financial education. And the 6 words again are income, expense, asset, liability. And the last 2 words are the words cash flow. And that's why the game is called cash flow. And the secret to being rich is not a college education, but can you control cash flow?
5 businesses to start in 2023, man. Let's get it. And the 4th one is the best one. Number 1, we got wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling real estate is the cheapest and easiest way to get into real estate. 1, because there's no license needed unless you live in these states right here. As a wholesaler, you drive around looking for distressed properties. Once you find a property, you script trace the address, getting the seller to put the property under contract at a discounted price. You take that contract to investors to sell at a higher price. Number 2, creating Google ads on Upwork or Fiverr.com. You can head to Upwork.com to see what people are charging for this. For example, $200 per hour, $400K earned. And all they're doing is marketing for somebody else. 3, we have Airbnb. For this, you're going to need an LLC, with the LLC name pertaining to lease homes or properties in it. This will help you get corporate leases at apartment buildings. And from there, slowly start building up your Airbnb portfolio. Number 4, my favorite one, reselling. Reselling is just finding products at discounted price on Facebook, OfferUp, or online in general. Then stacking up your inventory and relisting these products at a higher price, leaving you with that middle profit. And for tip number 5, check down in the comments below.
If I was starting all the way over and I was like between the ages of 18 and 25 and I wanted to become financially free, here's what I would do. First thing I'm doing is getting a job, any job. I just need to be making some kind of money. Number 2, if possible, I'm living with my parents for as long as possible. But I'm not mooching off them or living for free. I'm gonna take the money from my job to help them pay a bill or something. Then once I'm settled, I'm reading these 4 books: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Compound Effect, The Psychology of Money, and How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm not going to college, but I am going to trade school to learn a skill or a high demand skill online. The next thing I would do is save anywhere between like $5,000 to $10,000 just to like create the foundation for myself. And during that time, I'm also building my credit, paying for all of my bills and expenses using the credit card and paying it off every single month. Then I'm investing as much of my money as possible, starting with at least $100 per month.
4 personal finance tips you should know. First, it's the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income should always go into your obligations, your monthly fixed costs, we call it, okay? 30% of your income is often, you are welcome to use it in your disposable income, whether it's on luxury goods, whether it's on clothing, whether it's going out and entertainment. But more importantly, 20% of your income should always be saved on a month-to-month basis. 2, always pay off the smaller debts. Whenever you pay off the smaller debts, there is a feeling of pride, confidence, and joy, which will allow and accelerate for you to pay off the larger debts. 3, automated savings. It's important that you deposit 20% of your income into a saving account consistently every month. This will not only improve your cash flow, but will also save for a rainy day. And finally, number 4, do not put your money in the bank where it's not generating any form of revenue for you or a return. Put your money in something safe, whether it's a treasury bond, whether it's a stock market, whatever it is that is considered to be safe. If there is a massive dip in the market, at least your money does not go away. It still stays, but in a steady format and considered as a second form of a revenue stream.
If you get paid bi-weekly, one of the first things you should do every single year is look for those 3 paycheck months, because utilizing those 2 3-paycheck months will allow you to build wealth so much faster if you plan for it. Here are the 3 paycheck months that you can check out for 2023. If your first paycheck was January 6th of 2023, then your 3 paychecks months will be March and September. If your first paycheck was Friday the 13th of January 2023, then your 3 paycheck months will be June and December. Planning for these 3 paycheck months and using those dollars to save for your emergency fund or investing those dollars and even paying down debt is one of the best things that you can do with your money.
If you want to have money, don't do these 3 things. Just don't. Okay? Unless you want to be broke, feel broke, and be associated with broke, don't do these things. And the last one is major. But the first one, listen, don't buy things that don't pay you back. Learn how to retrain your mind and think, okay, how can this thing that I'm about to buy pay me back and put money back into my pocket? That's going to help you, number 1, save some money. And then number 2, create an asset that's going to pay you back. Second thing, don't pay bills when they are due. Create a system where you pay bills 1 day out of the month or 1 week, either the beginning or the end, and then focus on generating income the rest of the month. Then the last one, don't prioritize value or don't prioritize hard work over value. The skills are ultimately what's going to pay the bills and set you free for real. Believe that.
This is how you become financially free. It's not Amazon. It's not e-commerce. It's not drop shipping. It's not multi-family real estate. It's not becoming a social media influencer. This is exactly how I stopped worrying about money and began doing whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. So if you want to become financially free, number 1, you need to be making some kind of income, either from a job or a business. Number 2, you need a bank account. Inside that bank account, you have a checking and a savings. You need to keep your monthly expenses in your checking and $2,000 in your savings. From there, you need a credit card. Get a cash back credit card with a credit limit of exactly what your monthly expenses are, the same number as what's in your checking. Then you need a high yield savings account. You're going to keep 6 to 12 months of your expenses in this account. Then once you get there, stop saving, because then you're going to take the rest of that money, open up an investment account like a Roth IRA, and invest up to $500 per month there. And then lastly, get you some life insurance. You're going to need about 10 times your income in life insurance. Then once you figure out how to automate that entire thing, that's going to be your quickest path to financial freedom. Like and follow for more.
10 things I wouldn't do now that I've been a financial advisor for over 20 years. Number 1, I would not use my debit card for online purchases. Yes, you have fraud protection, but the money does physically leave your account. You have to work with your bank to get it credited back. Worse, it may happen when you're not currently looking at your account, causing other bills or checks to bounce. Credit cards only when you're buying online. Number 2, I would do everything I can to avoid being a car buyer right now, new or used. Dealerships have to make up for reduced inventories by jacking up prices and adding garbage fees on the back end. This is only going to add more trouble down the road when you want to sell or trade in. You're going to be so far upside down, you're either going to have to drive that car into the ground or roll that negative equity into your next purchase, which isn't a guarantee. My advice, make your current car last another 6 to 12 months. Inventory levels should balance out and prices come back to normal. Number 3, I never pay credit card interest. At least I haven't in years. I don't use credit cards for anything more than a convenience as a replacement for cash. Do not let credit cards let you live beyond your means. If I can't pay for it in full when the first bill comes, I don't charge it and I don't compromise. That's how I stay out of debt. Number 4, don't miss out on your employer's 401k match. There's chatter on social media about, hey, 401ks are not that good. You should be buying real estate or whole life insurance. That's fine. They can say what they want. But 401k match is free money. Your employer's trying to help you save for retirement. Take the free money. Don't pass it up. If I had a magic bank where you could make a $100 deposit and I gave your receipt back for $200, you'd run home and find every $100 bill you could. That's what's happening when your employer matches your contributions. Don't pass up the free money. Number 5, I don't borrow money for things unless they go up in value, namely real estate. I buy my cars, my toys, my vacations, my electronics. I pay cash for them. Don't pay interest on depreciating assets. Like, follow, and share for part 2 of the 10 things I wouldn't do as a financial advisor. Okay, part 2 of the 10 things I would not do after being a financial advisor for over 20 years. Number 6, I would not buy more life insurance than I actually need. There's lots of talk out there about whole life insurance for infinite banking, retirement income, and a lot of other things. I am of the belief that you should only buy as much insurance as you need and only for as long as you need it. You can capture a lot of the benefits of infinite banking and other products without the overhead of mortality, expense, and administration. Number 7, I would not celebrate big tax returns. Big tax returns are not windfalls. They're poor money management. You should set up your withholding in a way where you can enjoy that money throughout the year to reduce debt and build wealth. Do not give the government an interest-free loan. Number 8, it's a 2-parter. I would not let my children take student loans for undergrad. I would exhaust every other option before I would let them apply for a student loan. I would ask them to go the junior college route. I would ask them to go to a lesser school, or I would ask them to go part-time and get a job. Starting life with debt is really hard on young people. If they wanted to take a student loan, I would expect them to show me the research behind the prospects of the field that they're going into, the pay, the availability, the hiring rate, and then I would make them show me a plan on how they're going to pay off that student loan. Remember, you get to put the college you graduate from on your resume. You don't have to put an asterisk by it just because you only went there 2 years instead of 4. Second, I would avoid out-of-state tuition. You pay taxes to subsidize the college system. Let's use UCLA, for example. UCLA costs in-state students about $13,000 a year for tuition and fees. That's excluding everything else. To be an out-of-state student, the same tuition and fees jumps to $43,000. Again, you're paying taxes. You might as well capture some of that money back by going to school in your own state. Number 9, I would not wait to buy a home just because I'm saving up my 20% down payment. While you're saving, home prices and interest rates may actually be moving against you, negating any benefit you get from putting down 20%. Don't be afraid of PMI. It's just a necessary evil. You can always try to refinance out of it, or in some cases, when the equity is in the home, you can call the lender and ask to have it removed. And number 10, I wouldn't go another day without a financial plan, a retirement plan, and an estate plan. I need to know where my money's going and what I'm trying to achieve. I want to know when I get out of the rat race and control my time. And then I want to make sure I know where my stuff goes and who's taking care of my minor children when I pass away. Those are all things that we have to deal with. It's just part of being a grown-up. Thank you for watching these. Like, follow, and share for future videos where I talk about building a financial plan, setting goals, and some investment options. Thank you. Key number 6 to financial success. Choose your partner wisely. Man, this is going to hit home for some of you. I just know it. But who you choose to spend your life with will dramatically impact your financial success. Ask anyone who's been divorced. Ask anyone that has ever thought about money in a relationship. Combining your financial life is like jumping into a boat with your potential partner. Early on, your boat's going to be taking on water. It's going to be taking on water in the form of a mortgage and car payments and student loans and daycare costs. And imagine you're busting your butt to scoop out as much water as you can. Now, turn around and see your partner drilling holes in your boat. This is what it's like to pick the wrong partner. It's tough to grow and make progress when you and your partner are not rowing in the same direction, or you can't trust your partner to hold up their end of the bargain. Thank goodness, this is one of the financial decisions I got absolutely right. My wife is this beautiful and warm and caring and articulate woman. She's a wonderful mom and sister and daughter and wife. She is absolutely the best human being I've ever met. Stack that with how good she is with money, and it's almost criminal if I ask for anything more. It is an amazing feeling that we are on the same page about spending and goals and what we hope for the future. I can't put into words just how incredible she is. My advice when you're ready to get serious with someone, don't overlook their finances. Be clear and open about your expectations and your goals and your views on money. Don't compromise. Get this decision right. It'll make all the difference in the long term.